Hey, before we begin, I wanted to show you guys some of the work you're going to be seeing throughout the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you
Hey, what's
now.
up everybody, it's Loof Meat. Today we're going to go over needle configurations, what they're used for, what sizes they are, and what they do. Also, the voltage I run them at, and needle depth. So let's get right into it. This is an Ambition soldier machine. And let's start with this right here. This is a 10-14 round liner. I typically use these needles for traditional style work in this machine. And we're gonna show you the depth of that, what we do. So it's at a 0.5 right now. If I was going to be using this for lining on a tattoo, I'll show you a tattoo. I'll cut it right here and show you a tattoo I use this needle on. So for the 14 round, I did use it for all the big outlines throughout the back of the tattoo. All the inside lines were done with a 5, and I'll explain that a little bit later. I would be running it at 7.5 on this machine, and the depth on that is about the length of 2/4, but I'd only be using half of the needle to go into the skin. Next up, we have a 17 round mag. I use these needles mostly for shading, color packing. As you can see with that mag, you can really get in those tight corners and kind of brush it the way you want it to, very lightly. You can dip into different tones as well to get a lighter shade, lighter gray. And if you look closely in that mouth, if you hold the position of the needle right, it gives a nice skip effect. You can see right there how it's rounded, curved. The camera wants to show. Yep. It's curved like that for a reason, so you can get up to close to the skin. If you do like a hard line, you can get in there and kind of whip in there a little bit easier. So the needle depth on these are a little different. I don't use these at 7.5. I will turn this down. Depends what I'm doing. If I'm color packing, I will run it at 7. And the depth on these is going to differ between person to person. That's the far out throw. I'd probably have it out about yay much. If you guys can see that. That's for brushing like this. To brush in light grays, and I will show you a tattoo right now that I've done with this. Like I was saying before, you can see the darker tones and also the lighter tones in the top of the skull right there. That's very, very lightly brushing. For color packing though, if you're doing it straight black, I do throw it out a little tiny bit more, and I work off the tip of the needle. So, you can see that right there. I slowly work off the tip of the needle like that in circular motions. Like that. As you can see in his hair right there, it's very solid, very black. So is his upper part right there. Turn the machine off. And now we're gonna go with a 5 liner. So all these liners that I'm using right now are tights and bug pins. And when I use smaller needles, it is different. I do throw the needle out just a smidge more, and I turn the voltage down because it pierces the skin a lot easier than the larger needles, like with more ease. So if you see that needle depth right there, that's probably about a nickel and a half, and you work straight off the tip of the needle. And I always use my hand like this to run the machine itself when I'm working, finding my starting point and my stopping point. Like that. I'll show you a tattoo that has this small configuration in it as well. Believe it or not, this whole tattoo is actually done with that needle. Not that exact needle, but you know what I mean. And now let's get on to a bigger boy. This right here is a 27 mag. It's a 27 curve mag, and I use this for bigger, softer grays. See the difference? It's just a prettier needle in my opinion. Since it is a bigger mag, bigger needle, I do run it a little bit higher depending on what I'm doing. For soft shading, I do run it at 7. And if I'm color packing, I will run it at 7.5. Just like like that. And there's only really one length that I want this at all times. It's usually about that. It's about 1.25 out. And I do this, when I use this needle, I whip down corners like that. And if you are doing flat, you are gonna sweep it. Constant sweeping motions like that. There we go. Let's put these in here. All these needles are not going to be used, obviously. That's just for instead of it's just to make it look nice. Okay. So what we have here, an 11 round liner, kind of the same thing. The difference between these and other brands, some have diamond tips and some have rounder tips like that. And these ones are actually tights. So if this is an 11 round tight and a bug pin, so it's probably going to be the same about as like a 7 liner standard. And these you just run basically the same 7, 7.5 for lining. If you want to skip shade, you throw these out a little bit more. That, and you would turn the voltage down to about 6.5 or 6 and literally brush like this. And in some areas, if you want to get fancy with it, like that. I'll show you a couple tattoos on screen on that technique as well. Sorry, this tattoo has a little bit of ointment on it, but you can actually see the effect that I'm talking about. And the last guy is one of my favorites. It is a 13 round mag bug pin. I use this guy for pretty much everything. If you're having trouble getting ink into the skin, I highly recommend you use a smaller mag because it is a tighter configuration of needles and it will put the ink in the skin faster. So here, that's way too far out, and that's looking pretty good right there. So yeah, I'll throw some pictures in. This is a little helpful tip. Someone asked me to do this video for them. So if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Thank you guys. On to the next video. I'll see you there.